Hi, welcome to Wealthy Mindset. My name is Oliver. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you're having a great day. In today's video, I'm going to talk about BlackBerry stock starting from April 26th trading day, covering the next couple weeks. I'm going to analyze the graph, give you the lows and highs, essentially price target predictions. Now, quick disclaimer before I begin. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a professional, and everything I do share with you is just my opinion. It is not advice. So please do not buy or sell based off the information I give you or the opinions I do form. Please do your own due diligence and research before buying and selling. I do own shares in BlackBerry, been holding for 6 years, so I'm a long-term investor overall. So now for the 1 month chart, like I've shown in the past, downward trend resistance line right here with one touch point knocked us down, second touch point, third touch point right here. And then plus we have another downward trend resistance line that started off as support first with a touch point right here back in January 25th, 2021. And then multiple touch points right here, but want to focus on these double downward trend or knocked us down twice right here, middle of March. And technically the game plan, so not even technically, the game plan is to pass these downward trend resistance line. And then once you do, usually it's a decent run up at least, but there's a chance that we could probably just hug this downward trend resistance line and act as support. And I'll explain why further in the video. Now, in the meantime, I think we're looking pretty good overall, just because in the 1 month chart, you can see right here, we're above all three moving averages, and then plus MAC line is in the positive. Going to be difficult to see, but it's right there. And then technically this is pretty amateur, but there's a downward trend resistance line, hypothetically slanted, and we're just right above it. And technically we could bounce off and continue to the upside on this upward trend support line that has one touch point right here, second touch point right here, and a third touch point right here. Now, that is possible, but not a guarantee. I think it's probably going to break and come back down to like 880 range, maybe even lower, maybe break this upward trend support line, who knows. But I think we will be going past this downward trend resistance line, which if we do, we need to pass $8.94, which might be quite difficult actually, but I think we'll be in good shape for the MAC line, which, by the way, this means if you are in the positive, it's a bullish movement, it's optimistic. If it's in the negative, can't talk, sorry. But if it's in the negative, then that means it's bearish and it's not optimistic. So the problem is, once we pass that, this is the one I think we're gonna have issues passing, is basically at the $9.20 when I measured it. But right here, this downward trend resistance line, when we meet it, if we meet it right off the bat. Now, like always, I cover the upside and the downside. But before I do, I'm going to show two more things, and then I'm going to cover the upside and downside. So the 5-year chart, like I've showed in the past, there's an upward trend support line right here, has one touch point as of March 2020, conglomerate of touch points right here from July to August of 2020, and another touch point right here as of December 28th, 2020. And technically, so if you could visualize, hypothetically, I'll just draw it right here, just amateur drawing, which I'm doing a pretty bad job anyway, but right, okay, I can't really get it, but either way, hopefully you get the idea. Essentially going down, but if you had like a touch point right here, if I could just, whatever, this is fine, I guess, yeah, that's better. So essentially, downward trend resistance line right here, even though it's amateur, and there's a chance we could consolidate right here. So if we could consolidate until like May 10th around the $8.80, $8.50 price point. Now, if you think it's going to essentially probably consolidate or even go up, or it doesn't matter, consolidate and then hit this downward trend resistance line and then get knocked down and pretty much meet on like May 17th, mid-May overall, then we could still see $8.30, $8.24, so on and so forth. But I don't think that might be, like that is a possibility actually. There is a good chance. But I don't think that's a possibility given the 1 month chart, given the way we're moving, all that stuff. Plus, we're above all three moving averages. MAC line, yes, it's in the negative, so it's not optimistic, it's bearish. But I think given how long it's been in the negative, like if you look at the past times, it starts curving up. So like this is for quite a while, negative, and it starts curving up to positive hypothetically. So I'm anticipating that if we do go to the negative, the reason I'm mentioning it is like this is technically, in my opinion, hopefully a good amount of support where, yes, you can't put too much faith into it because it did break in the past, so it had a false breakout. But I think it should be good enough support where if it goes to negative one more bar, hypothetically, then that would be pretty much bouncing up to the upside. So essentially like this. So let's just say we meet this downward trending resistance line right here, and then we bounce up to the upside, which given it one more drop and then start going up to the positive at this bounce off to the upside. Hopefully that's the case. Nothing's guaranteed. Nobody knows for sure. So again, form your own opinions, do your own due diligence and research before buying and selling. But I just wanted to mention that technically we could consolidate for the next couple of weeks until mid-May, or potentially go like not mid-May, but almost around that ballpark. And then potentially mid-May go down to like 830, 824, somewhere around there, give or take a couple cents. And now just to one more thing, if we go to the 1 year chart, 1 year chart is optimistic. Another reason why I think we're probably going to be going up. And again, we could consolidate, and I'll explain a little bit further for a potential consolidation. Actually, I already mentioned it, or I'll go back to the 1 month chart and show it. But MACD line is in the positive for the 1 year chart. And again, that's a bullish 1 year movement overall in terms of average movement. So it's optimistic for like the year movement. And back to the 1 month chart, another thing I wanted to show is, like I stated earlier, which I already showed, but if we do pass it, we could pretty much hug this downward trend resistance line, act as support, especially since we've seen it acted as support back here, back in July 25th, 2021. So that is another scenario. And then, so now I'm going to cover the upside in terms of resistance levels, and I'm going to cover the downside in terms of support. Okay, so covering the upside, like I stated, passing 894 is quite difficult, just because we have this downward trend resistance line. Plus, it's going to be acting as horizontal resistance, so where we're at right now. So there's quite a bit of resistance at the 880 range anyway to begin with, like I've mentioned in the past videos. So 888, which I think, yeah, we saw the other trading day, which was ridiculous, but it was crazy. So 888 anyway, 882 to 884, and 889. These are all strong resistance lines, horizontal, so on and so forth. Then we have 895 as resistance, between 895 to 897, and then 891 as well. In general, that's pretty strong support or resistance, but the most resistance is between 895 to 897. Then once we pass that, which will pass this downward trend resistance line, but the problem is we could hypothetically get knocked back down, have a false breakout, because there's strong resistance between $9 and $9.14, $9.13. I would say even $9.12 between that range, so $9.12 to $9.14. The only thing is though, technically, let's just say, depending on when we meet this downward trend resistance line, we might get knocked down at these price points too, because like if we meet it right off the bat, it's like $9.20, but if we meet it later on, then we trickle down to like $9, like the low $9. So hopefully by the time we meet it with like correlation with these horizontal resistance levels, we just break through all of them completely and go to the upside. Now, even if we do, we're like, the main goal is to pass the 9. To be honest, like we need to get back up to like at least a $10 price point. And the reason why is because there's a lot of resistance overall, and at least a $10 price point, hopefully if we get up there like at a good amount of time, not just a quick spike up and come back down, but like at least consolidate just for like a little short while, I think it would be enough support to actually hold us overall. Now, in the meantime, passing $9.14, we go to the next resistance level at $9.27 to $9.37. Most of the resistance is between $9.27 to $9.31. And then after that is the $9.50 range, so like $9.55, so on and so forth. But even if we pass $9.50, because it's really strong resistance, that horizontal resistance range, which by the way, again, these all pass the downward trend resistance line that I showed back in January 2021, starting from there as support, but then acting as resistance later, which, just to be clear, passing essentially 927 would mean we pass this downward trend resistance line. Hopefully it's not a false breakout. Just to explain in case you're new to the channel, if it goes up and passes it and hits like $9.34, if we come back down and just get trapped underneath the downward trend resistance line, the only good news about this is the fact that we broke the downward trend resistance line, making it more fragile, and then later in the future we'll break it again. Like it provides more promise, but in the meantime, it kind of sucks if it does that, because then we get trapped again underneath the downward trend resistance line. Now, passing 950 range is good, but we need to hit past 963 after that. There's a lot of resistance at 963. That's the problem. But once we pass 963, 983 to 988 is resistance, $9.95 to $9.99. And then after that, we hit the $10 price point. Now, there's a lot of resistance between the $10 and like $10.02, $10.05, between 10.11 to 10.15. But I think if we just stay in this range for just a good enough time, especially if we bounce up to 10.27, if we bounce up to 10.27 to 10.37, which is a lot of resistance between that price point, the only thing is though, at least would come back down to the low 10 and then stabilize. I'm pretty confident we could. Again, this is just my opinion though. Don't like buy or sell based off that. But I think there's enough support at that level if we pass the resistance overall. Now, if we go to the downside, this is the thing. Essentially, if we go to the downside, I think these moving averages will help us bounce up to the upside. So essentially the lowest, hypothetically, if you're thinking that's the case too, is like 859, 858, and 861, depending on when we hit them. Now we do have horizontal support, horizontal support at the 870 range, so 869, 871 price point, give or take. Then the 850 range, so 851 to 856. But I think these moving averages will interfere before we even get there. And then 841 and 840 range. I don't think we're going to go any lower. The only way we'd go lower is like I mentioned with the 5-year chart, but I'll elaborate more if we get closer to that and I notice that's the case. Hopefully we continue to upside. Pretty optimistic we are, just because given the MAC lines, they're in the positive, given this upward trend support line, given the 5-year chart the way it's looking. Okay, so that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope you liked it. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask. I'll try to answer them as soon as possible. If you like videos like this or other stock videos or other financial videos I'll be posting in the future, consider subscribing so you'll be notified when I do upload those videos. Thanks again for awesome support, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.